I don't know. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. So we waited a few seconds. It took us a little while to come on here, but we are definitely here. We are literally marching on just hours before the LWF returns here to the town of Chorley and the Buckshaw Village Community Center. And we're always honored to have him on here, always excited. You know that he brings the party. There is no party without the scenario Nathan Gunn. And, of course, Billy and Bart. I mean, certainly I would not want to be Mr. Stone and Mr. Getsky tomorrow night because it could be we see history tomorrow night with Blazing Guns becoming the second ever LWF Tag Team Champions, and the LWF Takeover has begun here on Sportswire Radio. So without further ado, here in the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, pro wrestling star here from the LWF, the scenario, Nathan Gunn.
That entrance gets better every time, man.
Would we be calling you champ next time you're on here, my friend?
Hey, that's what we're hoping, isn't it? That's what we're hoping. Look, I don't discount Getske. You know, I respect him, but hey, I've got a couple of plans, and that's what I'm hoping.
Oh, we're going to certainly find out. This has been a match we have been hyping up here for weeks on Sportswire Radio, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. And my friend, we're going to get to that here in a second for sure. But I do want to get to some words that Wildfire Nate Reese had to say about you. And Wildfire Nate Reese is going to be on here in a little while. So, my friend, would you care to respond to Wildfire Nate Reese and his accusations that he's laid towards you in terms of you getting this tag team championship match tomorrow night against your heated nemesis, the Wrecking Crew?
Well, I don't know where that's come from, really. I mean, look, I've always respected Nate Reese. He's seen me do that, but it was justified. I think it's been justified over, however many times I've ended up fighting Dave. He's always pulled something. So I think it's justified. It's a bit of retribution, isn't it? But I don't know. He's come out, hasn't he? He's firing wildly, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know where it's come from, but he's been doing it. And look, it's a difficult one because I've tried to. I'm trying to respect my veterans in this business, and he is a veteran. And I used to go to him for advice, and this weird attitude change he's got going on. I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. I'm not a fan at all.
You could have been a little mean and said your elder statesman, Wildfire Nate Reese. You didn't say that. I did. I'm going to get in big trouble for it.
No, I was trying to be diplomatic. Look, I still have a bit of respect for Nate Reese.
Mr. Nathan Gunn, you were actually trying to be diplomatic.
It's not often I am, but just in this moment.
But speaking of that, though, and I know that we're going to get a lot into the tag team championship match for sure here when it comes to you and Conrad Blaze against Mr. Getsky and Mr. Stone. But, I mean, when it comes to this new Wildfire Race, and I know we spoke about this a couple different times, do you feel maybe in a way that, I don't know, Wildfire Nate Reese might be maybe, how can I put this in a nice term, maybe jealous of how maybe you've gotten yourself into a match and a championship match, whereas we spoke about this with Mr. Reese on Monday. Mr. Reese is not going to be in action, so certainly you are. So maybe there could be some of that from his end. I mean, give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, maybe. Obviously, it's frustrating when you're not involved with such an incredible show like Marching On will be. That's frustrating, and I get that. But I don't see why there would be jealousy. I mean, we've always had a good relationship, me and Nate Reese, but I don't know, these past couple of months, he's been going down a slippery slope. Maybe he's been spending too much time with David Getsky. Who knows?
Who certainly knows it? Apparently, a fan has chimed in here. I mean, somebody who I told you the scenario, Nathan Gunn, things we're going to pick up. And apparently, a fan has said here, oh, no, not him again. I mean, any thoughts toward that? Because clearly it's not a Wildfire Nate Reese stooge, which somebody named or related to Bob Costin had accused me of. So clearly, this is not a Nate Reese stooge, but he says here, "Oh no, not him again." Any comments for that?
Well, I don't think that the numbers for Sportsnarium reflect that. I think the people love me on here, and I love coming on here.
I think it's the 4th time we've had you on here,
Yeah,
so
it is, man.
you've been on here quite a bit at this point.
Yeah, no, and thanks for having me. I love being here. It's only a select few people who don't like having me around, isn't it? But I'm sure they'll be quiet come Sunday when I've got a belt on the arm. The day after. You see.
Ooh, well, certainly that person who might be a fan of the Wrecking Crew, and certainly
No
Mr.
offense.
Chris Stone, maybe they would think differently. I mean, do they have a different thought on that they're not going to have that belt and that gold that they're having around their waist and carrying around the town of Cloyerly? I mean, maybe that's a different thoughts for them, maybe. But you seem pretty confident about that this time.
Well, no, I'm feeling good. Yeah, the plan came together last time. I mean, we had an in-depth talk about that, and yeah, it was good. And yeah, so I'm feeling pretty confident. And like myself and Conrad Blaze, we've talked a few game plans, and we know that they're going to be trying the usual Wrecking Crew shenanigans. But we're hoping that we're ready for him. Look, we know that Chris Stone is unbelievably strong, all right, and David Getsky's really talented. And I'm not, I might dislike them, but the facts are facts. But we're feeling pretty good about our preparation for marching on.
Well, don't tell us what you guys are doing.
No,
don't
can't,
tell
man.
us what you
It's
guys
secret.
are doing. But what I will say is, knowing some of those things that you just said, and I know we spoke about this last month when you came on the air. I mean, are you training differently? Are you focusing differently? Are you keeping your wits about you differently? Because you do realize that there's a lot on the line also for the Wrecking Crew. Nick Cutter is defending his Castle Cup. He's in the tournament tomorrow against Lachlan Sharp. The Wrecking Crew in a match with you and your tag team partner, Conrad Blaze. There's a lot on the line for the Wrecking Crew. Would you be concerned about the fact that the Wrecking Crew could be resorting to, even for their standards, more dangerous tactics than they have before, because there's a lot on the line for them?
Hey, look, I know they're devious, and I know they've got good tactics. Frankly, I mean, they're not what the people want to see, but they're good tactics. They're effective. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've got one eye when I walk out my house, man. I'm always watching for them. So yeah, we're confident in the prep. We're confident in the prep. We watched the tapes back. We were disappointed with obviously one tape. We got through it quickly, and we're going to give it more than 110%. We're ready to take those belts. We're ready.
You always give 110%. When have you not given 110%? I've known you now almost a year. You always give 110%. Even if you don't win, you still give it that. So I have no doubt that Blazing Guns are going to give it 110%. I also have no doubt that everybody should also be following the Scenario Nathan Gunn on Instagram at Pro Nathan Gunn, because something tells me there could be a big party at the Vaults Bar and Bistro tomorrow. Something tells me a party could be there if the Scenario Nathan Gunn's walking away with tag team gold. And of course, if you like what you hear from the LWF, please do give a follow to the LWF's Instagram page here at the LWF Wrestling. And we've got another comment here from a Wrecking Crew fan, and same individual, and he says, yep, 1 minute and 47 seconds. So that's a reference from a Wrecking Crew supporter on the fact that you did lose to Mr. Getsky in 1 minute and 47 seconds, which has been apparently the shortest match in LWF history. I mean, that's going to dog you till the end of time. Even if you win tomorrow, something tells me it's going to dog you until the end of time, my friend.
Hey, I still dispute that that's the quickest match in wrestling history. I mean, I don't want to shoot at Nate Reese as because he shot at me, but I'm pretty sure I saw Bellatius splat him real quickly. But moving swiftly on from that, look, we're aware that we lost in 147. I mean, the facts are that they jumped us pre-hand, and we still wanted to put on a show for the people. Maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe we should have taken a week. But that's not the kind of wrestlers me and Conrad Blaze are. We're there for obviously the gold, but we're also there for the fans. So
listen, something tells me, and I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this, and I said this with Mikey Fitz on Monday's show. Something tells me that gold for you is just going to be, listen, something for the life of the party, because we know you bring the girls. We know you bring the party. We know you even sang in the past. I mean, something tells me, listen, you could almost have been in the Four Horsemen. I mean, something tells me that you and Conrad could almost be the new members of the Horsemen, because what's at this point? Flair's got to be like 800. I mean, we can't talk about Benoit. I mean, listen, Arn Anderson's practically in crutches. I mean, Barry Windham, who knows where he is at this point? I mean, so at this point, I mean, listen, maybe if you guys do get the belts, you guys could almost be, instead of Blazing Guns, I mean, the Blazing Horsemen for all we know, because you certainly look like you could be in one of the members of the Horsemen. That's for sure.
Hey, honestly, woo to that. No, yeah, I'm wheeling and dealing, man. You know how it is. But hey, it's a party whether we take the gold or not. But it's a next level party when we get our hands on those titles.
Yeah, something tells me that certainly Mr. Flair and Mr. Anderson and Mr. Wyndham and J.J. Dillon, I don't know if they're how can I put this with being nice? They're let's just say that they're private parts could certainly get up as well as the rest of us here. So certainly the party for them might be Viagra enhanced. Let's just put it that way. So, but we'll leave it at that. But when it comes to a match like this, obviously a lot on the line. Talk to me about this. Are you sleeping extra tonight? Are you losing sleep? I mean, this is the eve before arguably the biggest match of your career this year, Nathan Gunn. I mean, are you going to get a good night's sleep? Or are you going to be up all night thinking about this match and what this can mean for your career?
Well, I'll be up all night, but I'll be up all night partying, man. You know what I
mean? I walked right into that one, didn't
you? You walked into it, man. But no, that's where I'll be. That's where I'll be. The party don't stop just because there's gold on the line. Look, I'll have a shot. I'll think about the gold. That's how it'll go.
Okay, well, we'll certainly see what happens. I mean, have you at least envisioned what the gold would look on your waist? I mean, have you envisioned that moment, or are you just still too focused? I mean, that I'm sure you can. Talk to me.
You know, I don't need to envision what it looked like, because I liberated David Getsky's title from him at the last show, so it looked great on me. Quite frankly, I mean, everyone said that on my Instagram.
And that's what Wildfire Nate Reese was upset about, by the way. He certainly took the side of the Wrecking Crew, which I think would have been unfathomable a few months ago, according to some. But certainly Mr. Reese, he took the side of the Wrecking Crew, and he felt that the tactics that you had did in terms of getting your title shot were unfair. I mean, that was certainly, I'm sure you heard some of what he had to say when we announced you coming back on. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, no. Obviously, I heard what he had to say, and like I said earlier, I have no idea why he's firing wildly at me, because he's seen what everyone's seen backstage, which is myself and Conrad Blaze try to play by the rules and really come up short because of that, and it was retribution, wasn't it? It was comeuppance. So I don't know why he's decided to take the Wrecking Crew side. It's a weird thing to decide to do, I mean, given that they're not going to have tag titles or the Castle Cup at the end of the weekend. So,
and you could make the case, especially when it comes to Wildfire Nate Reese, that the asset Stephen Cross, he did have his issues with the Wrecking Crew. So is Wildfire Nate Reese becoming a Wrecking Crew sympathizer, or is he just upset at how you got a title match? Because certainly his ally here with us, Mr. Cross, does not see eye to eye, quote unquote, with the Wrecking Crew. I mean, that's a fair point to make, I would think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope he's not becoming a Wrecking Crew sympathizer. I would hope he's taken exception to maybe how I've done it. But look, who knows? I can't guess his motivations. Like I said, I've respected Nate Reese for a long time, but we seem to be clashing at the moment, and I'm not sure why. But hopefully it doesn't carry on, and hopefully he doesn't, side with the Wrecking Crew, because, well, you don't want to be with those.
I think he's got his own problems right now, Wildfire Nate Reese. He's got his own problems with Bob Costin. So certainly I think that Mr. Reese, he's more focused on Bob Costin, and he's more focused on what Mr. Costin is going to be doing, because Mr. Costin, like something that you've done in the past, is doing the raffle tomorrow. I mean, you want to give Bob Costin any pointers on doing the raffle tomorrow?
Yeah, take a title, pre-hand, and come out in crutches. Works really well.
Do you think that? Do you think that that would work with him and Wildfire Nate Reese? Maybe if all of a sudden, let's say that he went on crutches, maybe Wildfire Nate Reese would go easy on him a little bit.
No, I think. Oh, look, I think Wildfire Nate Reese has obviously seen seen what's happened with the Wrecking Crew, so he's not going to fall for it, is he? And Bob's, look, he's an original, he's a character. He'll come up with his own ideas. Let me tell you.
Bob Costin is the man that wants to finish the match quick. He's what you call in boxing. He just wants to go to the knockout punch. We were watching his match at Monday Night Mutiny against Disfrasada, and he literally, I think the first minute in, wanted to get his finisher in and get a roll up in. I mean, he was pretty much, I think he was in and out. He was in and out. They would say in and out. But I do have a friend of mine who's checked in. That is the Yak Attack Jacob Bard from my end of the woods here in New York. And he says, I like this Nathan Gunn guy. Well, obviously, the Yak Attack, you're in the right place here. And if you like what you hear from the scenario Nathan Gunn, the Yak Attack, because I know you do have an Instagram, you should most certainly follow him at Pro Nathan Gunn, because if you like a party, which I know you do, Mr. Bard, you will certainly have one when it comes to the scenario Nathan Gunn, because nobody knows the ladies like the scenario Nathan Gunn. Nobody may know gold like the scenario Nathan Gunn tomorrow night, and certainly nobody knows the LWF better than the scenario Nathan Gunn. So you definitely want to follow him on Instagram at Pro Nathan Gunn, because something tells me that Billy and Bart are coming out, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, possibly for the Wrecking Crew. And of course, he's also got the lighted hat, which I gotta say, I'm a fan of the lighted hat, by the way. Don't tell me how you got the lighted hat, but I'm sure you heard Mr. Fitzgerald and I were speaking about the lighted hat quite a bit on Monday's show. So I have to say, I'm a stickler for the lighted hat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, hey, look, I've always loved to party, and you know this, and I like to arrive in style. And you know, I don't need the entrance lights. I'll bring my own lights. You know, it's
and I'm sure it saves money for Mr. Bibby on the lights.
Yeah, true. But the problem I do have is, you know, I've got people like Dave Ugetsky trying to kick them, and he's broken one of my light up hats before now. Outrageous.
To be fair, Mr. Getsky, I'm sure he breaks a lot of things, and Mr. Getsky would certainly be the antithesis of you. You might be the life of the party, and he might be. There was a character in The Simpsons called Frank Grimes once, and Frank Grimes was pretty much like the most miserable human being on the face of the earth, and that was kind of like Mr. Getsky's character, with the exception that Mr. Getsky could kick some butt. But Mr. Grimes' character, I don't want to say how his character ends in The Simpsons, but basically, let's just say that happily ever after, he's no longer. So
I've seen the episode you're referring to, and it'll play out this weekend.
Something tells me that could be a stay tuned. That could be a lead in here for a stay tuned. And certainly we are talking all things related here to the LWF. And if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, please give us a like and follow anytime on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. And we actually just got a follow from Chris Stone. So I don't know if Mr. Stone is eavesdropping on us. I don't know if Mr. Stone is certainly maybe he's
huge Gunn fan. Just a huge Gunn fan.
Listen, everybody at this point, whether they don't want to admit it or not, are a fan of us, because we were speaking about it with Mikey Fitzgerald, and he said literally the entire roster at some point has listened to these shows or watched them. So clearly we are doing something good. And of course, you want to head on over in about 20 or so minutes. We'll be on sportnarium.com/player for the continued takeover here from the LWF. That includes the Asset Stephen Cross and also Wildfire Nate Reese. So definitely want to head on over, and while we're done here with the Sir Nathan Gunn, to continue, because Wildfire Nate Reese is going to have a lot to say. He's got a match in Odyssey Pro Wrestling against the Playboy Prince Lance Rivera. The Asset Stephen Cross has got a match, and he's got a match now. Speaking of it very quickly, the Sir Nathan Gunn, he was supposed to be in the ring with Chris Egan, and now he's going to be in the ring with Mr. B, the mysterious B. I mean, certainly Mr. Cross had aired his grievances about that, but what do you make of this whole situation about Stephen Cross? Because he's another one that I know has had a lot to say about you, and I know that you would like to respond to Mr. Cross here right now as we speak.
Oh, me and Stephen Cross have plenty of history, don't we? That's fair to say. I mean, you've seen it yourself, my friend. But I've always respected his ability in the ring, and I definitely respect his workouts. Man goes in the gym all hours every day. So he goes in the gym as much as I party. So you know, he's an athlete, isn't he? I I kind of feel a little sorry for him. He had to step in against Lachlan Sharp at the last show, last minute, and he's had a change of opponent again this time. It's very up in the air for him. He doesn't have much time to prepare, which is unfortunate. But he's a resourceful chap, isn't he? And I think he'll be a great match, and he'll give it his all.
Now, we have received a comment from somebody that you might know, and certainly Wildfire Nate Reese knew something about it. So, drum roll, please, here, and thanks to the crack staff for pulling this up for us. And that is none other than your opponent tomorrow night. Speak of the devil here. Our very good friend, I guess you might say, Mr. Davey Getsky here says, I hate Nathan Gunn. I mean, he's here with us live. I mean, would you care to respond to Mr. Getsky?
Look, I mean, the feeling's mutual, isn't it? I mean, at this point, that goes without saying.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Well, I don't know why he hates me. Maybe it's because I'm gonna take his tag titles with my partner Conrad Blaze. Maybe it's just because I bring the party in when he turns up in a room, everyone leaves. I don't know why it is. But he's entitled to his opinion, isn't he? Look, we just got one that said, I like this guy Nathan Gunn. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag.
Do you think maybe that, I don't know, Mr. Getsky, maybe he is jealous of the party, and certainly Mr. Getsky's got another comment in here, and he responds here once again, going back to 147 here. You can't last more than 2 minutes. I mean, you're going to hear that. And you know what? I'm going to be very diplomatic because he did say you can't last more than 2 minutes. So I don't know if he heard my Bruce Buffer reference earlier today with the Acid Stephen Cross, but certainly the last more than 2 minutes comment. I'm going to plead the fifth on that in terms of outside stuff, but you are going to be dogged with that. I think maybe for the rest of your career, unless you win tomorrow. So.
I'm furious. I have no idea who he's been talking to. Lies. Anyway, no, definitely. Look, I broil myself. I'm a man who accepts my failures. Myself and Conrad Blaze, we've talked about it non-stop pretty much. We shouldn't have got in the ring. We were jumped, attacked with chairs, but we wanted to bring the party for the people of Chorley, and we got carried away, and we shouldn't have. We went out there.
And another comment here from Mr. Stone. It has certainly been a Chris Stone, Wrecking Crew, Davey Getsky takeover here. He says he heard that from the girls too. Ooh, I wouldn't know. So I mean,
I don't believe any girls talk to Chris Stone. So that's
a tough one. That's a tough response there. I mean, Mr. Stone. I mean, that's a very, very touche response there. And Davey Getsky chimes in here and says, I'm not on about wrestling, by the way. Ooh, I mean, certainly they're hitting you. They're hitting you here today. They're hitting you like Billy and Bart may hit them tomorrow. Is that fair to say?
It's getting unnecessarily personal. I mean, I don't know him well. I mean,
it is getting heated here. It's getting we're
not super good friends, me and Davey. I mean, we don't go out go-karting or anything. I don't know what his problem is.
Did you not invite him to a party one day? Is that what it was?
Maybe that's it. To be honest, I didn't invite him to any of them. That could be the problem.
Ooh. Well,
might be on something.
Well, do you look back and say maybe I should have invited him to one?
No, never. No.
Ooh, okay. That's fair. All right, so you don't regret. No regrets then when it comes to any of that.
Oh, you never have regrets, my friend. Never. Yeah, look, even the 2 minutes. Should we go in the ring? No, but the people still love seeing us, and we got close in that match.
To be fair, there are two instances that I can think of in wrestling memory where a wrestler didn't last too long and got revenge. The first one was WrestleMania 9 between Hulk Hogan and Yokozuna. I think the match was less than maybe a minute, maybe even 40 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a rematch at King of the Ring in 1993 after WrestleMania 9, and Yokozuna disposed of Hulk Hogan and ended his championship reign. The other one was Survivor Series 2016 between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and Goldberg beats Brock Lesnar and becomes world champion. They have their rematch at WrestleMania 33, and Brock Lesnar disposes of Goldberg. So, to be fair, if it was the case there on the 1 minute and 47 seconds, there is precedent in history that you could even the odds here and win that championship. So maybe there is some hope on your side after all there.
Yeah, hey, it's been weighing on our minds. We've been thinking about it, plotting, planning. That's, we came up with the fake injury and the title steal, if you like, purely from 1 minute 47. We were like, it's time to maybe do things differently. And yourself,
You better do things differently. I did tell you last
yeah,
time
you
you
did.
came on that you better do things differently for this match. I did tell you that. And I think I did warn you beforehand that something had told me that the Wrecking Crew could be in the house. And I will be totally honest and full disclosure. I did not speak with the Wrecking Crew prior to this. I will confirm.
Yeah, well, look, sound advice, and I honestly I don't know what I was thinking. How long have I known David Getzky? Yeah, I came out just like we were going to have a fair match. What a fool I was that day, honestly. But it won't be happening again.
In the LWF, things actually being fair and balanced, and then actually the good guys getting the win, it always doesn't work out that way. I would remind you, you do know that. I mean, I know you do things the right way, but it always doesn't pan out that way. So I'm sure that you're aware of that doesn't always work out. So hopefully in this particular case, it will pan out the right way. I mean, since they are here watching this, I mean, is there anything you want to specifically address to Mr. Getzky and Mr. Stone? Because they are watching this, and I'm sure they're going to hang on every word you have to say here before you see them in the ring at the Buckshot Village Community Center tomorrow night.
Well, hey, look, normally this is where I would talk some facts and I'd say how I respect Dave's ability. And now Chris Stone's a strong guy. But, I mean, frankly, they're making outlandish comments, and I'd be hurt by them if there was any truth to them. So I'm simply going to have to tell them that tomorrow, lads, we're taking your titles. We're taking your titles, and this time they'll be staying around our waists. Simple as that.
Well, okay. Well, certainly, I'm sure that Mr. Getzky and Mr. Stone may certainly disagree about that. Certainly, I can tell you that Mr. Bibby and Mr. Fitzgerald would be very happy about that because they've had their issues. And certainly, Mr. Fitzgerald, as I'm sure you're aware of, he addressed the fact that he certainly would like to see champions that can work with management in the LWF. So, I mean, that was his thoughts, and I'm sure that you would agree with some of those.
Yeah, no, myself, Conrad Blaze, are huge fans of the LWF management. We love Steve Bibby. He's got a difficult job trying to get some semblance of.
I've heard he plays in hot dogs, by the way. How are the hot dogs, by the way, afterwards?
Do you know? I don't think I've had a hot dog afterwards. I've ended up missing out. I think. And
Mr. Stone has said something I can't repeat here. Mr. Stone, in all fairness to you and respect to you, I will just say that what he's saying to you is that you're what a bad man you are. That's what he's trying to say.
It takes one to know one, I suppose, doesn't it? I don't.
Well, that's what they say apparently in life. They apparently do say that. So there is precedent for that. But
there's a picture of him. There's a picture of him there with a chair on someone's leg, and he's calling me that.
Well, maybe he wanted to use the chair as an accessory.
A violent accessory, it looked like.
That's true. That is fair point. I mean, that is certainly a violent accessory. But maybe, listen, each to its own. I mean, I hope then that you have a violent accessory for you tomorrow because Mr. Stone does like the chair. I mean, they do like chairs. I mean. And the chairs hurt, by the way. And according to for those who are watching this, I can tell you for a fact that the chairs hurt. They used to say, oh, well, when they do the chairs in wrestling, when you get hit with the chair, it's like a fake chair and it doesn't hurt. No, trust me, it definitely hurts. They used to say, and I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. I think it was when Hogan and Flair fought. It was the last time they fought for a world championship. They used to say, "Oh, well, they're old guys, so they cover up the chair with like tape and they cover it up with like pads, and it doesn't hurt." No, trust me, those chairs definitely hurt. You definitely feel the chairs. It's definitely real. I don't want to hear about fake. The chairs are. They definitely hurt. So that's why I'm telling you this, sir, Nathan Gunn. You better have a violent accessory of your own, and not just Billy and Bart.
Well, yeah, I've got a few things under my eye. You know this.
Yes.
Eyes in the back of my head. And stick some eyes on the glowing parts.
Listen, and you do not tell us what those things are. Because clearly you have Mr. Stone and Mr. Getzky. They're watching this. So they're ready. They're waiting for you to hang yourself here. They're waiting for you to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then all of a sudden, they're going to use it to their advantage tomorrow night at the Buckshot Village Community Center, where there are a few tickets still available, and they're going to use it to their advantage.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I know that's their game, though. They're obvious, these lads, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's Friday night. You know what I mean? They've got nothing better to do. Gunn's going out after this. So
That's why we want to keep this short and sweet to the point. And apparently, Mr. Stone has chimed in and says he doesn't need a chair to hurt Gunn. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't answer that because I'm not going to be in the ring tomorrow night. You're going to be in the ring. You're gonna know that firsthand.
look, hey, he hits heavy because he's a strong guy. He's a strong guy, but look,
He's a big man. And he's always in. Apparently, somebody related to Chris Stone. He's always in the gym. So if it is that person or a fan of Chris Stone's, they're always in the gym, and it feels like at all times of the night that they're in the gym. So clearly,
look,
if it's related to Mr. Stone, they're working hard.
Yeah, look, Chris is there lifting a billion weights, and Getski's there getting 55 abs. Look, they work hard, those lads. You can't take away from them.
You got to give him credit. One thing I'll give him credit on: he's on the Cumbrian Outlaw Rick Marcus plan, and he's a new cat. Listen, when we first knew Davey Getski to where he is now, I mean, he is in shape. I will. He's not quite the Stephen Cross shape, but he is in shape.
Nobody's in that shape. Nobody's in that shape.
Stone says he won't be out Saturday night. Enjoy your Friday, Mr. Gunn. Well, Friday's almost over. It's like 10 o'clock. I mean, so to be fair, Saturday morning will be starting for.
That's when the Gunn's night starts, around 10 o'clock.
Something tells me at the Volt Bar and Bistro that Chris Stone and Nathan Gunn won't be sharing drinks tomorrow. So regardless of the outcome, at the Bistro tomorrow night after party, you guys aren't going to be mingling. Is that fair to say?
I ain't got time for that guy. I ain't got time for him. That's all.
So you won't be buying him a drink then tomorrow. Fair to say?
No, I might borrow his chair as we walk in, depending on what happens.
Well, I mean, listen, that's a good accessory. I mean, and to be fair, if you're in a bar, right, you want to sit.
Well, yeah, I need a seat, don't I?
Well, and listen, and you're going to want to keep those belts as close to you as possible because certainly Mr. Getski and Mr. Stone, they're going to want to take those belts. I mean, they're going to certainly want them back from you. If you guys win tomorrow night, there's a strong possibility. They're going to want those belts. So you're going to have something to help you just to keep away. I mean, that's for whatever reason, the Godsmack song "Keep Away" just came in my mind now. Keep away. So you're going to have to play "Keep Away." Not to say I'm the biggest Godsmack fan, but in this case, you might need to play "Keep Away" from Mr. Getski and Mr. Stone. So all I'm going to say here is stay tuned for that. I mean, but is there anything else that you want to say to anybody coming out tomorrow night that, let's say, may not have a reason to come out, but now they've just all of a sudden found out about the LWF, or anybody that is coming to the Buckshot Village Community Center? Is there anything that you want to say in particular to anybody coming out tomorrow night?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, come down tomorrow night, Buckshot Community Center, watch the LWF, one of the best promotions in the UK.
It is the best one. It is the best one.
What a lineup we've got tomorrow. I mean, honestly. It might have changed a little bit.
Lachlan Sharp. I mean, listen, Nick Cutter is going to have his own work cut out for him. He's got Lachlan Sharp, who was just in the ring with our own Stephen Cross. We've got Balachius, who's going to be in action against Clash. I mean, you want to talk about Clash of the Titans. You've got that. We've got our reigning defending world champion at the top of the table, Reynaldo, in a match with Sona Durson, who the next night is going to be in the ring with a natural-born fighter, R.P. Davis, in a street fight. I mean, we've got a number of matches here. I mean, we've got Lana Austin and Helena Razor in a match. I mean, with the world champion on the women's side, Jenny B, with KT Hawkins. I mean, we've got so many different people here that are in action. It's like, I mean, what a card. You guys could be the main event legitimately and might be middle of the card. I mean, who knows, really? It's a great card.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. You're gonna come out. You're gonna watch a great show because that card is talent from top to bottom. So, and frankly, you're gonna watch as the Wrecking Crew just implode. Look, I'm putting all my eggs in the basket here. They're losing the Castle Cup and they're losing those tag titles.
Listen, it could be a very, very disastrous night for the Wrecking Crew because you've got Nick Cutter, who's defending his Castle Cup. You've got the Wrecking Crew, Getski and Stone, defending their tag team championships. I mean, so you got a lot on the line here. So the Wrecking Crew, it could be a make-or-break night for the Wrecking Crew. This could very well be a make-or-break night here for the Wrecking Crew, to say the least. And, of course, the Acid Stephen Cross is in action also against the Mysterious B, Mr. B. So he's got his work cut out for him. Again, very, very excited here for all the great things that the LWF is doing. And I want to give you the floor, my friend, because I don't want to talk with you all that, because I know you still have a big match to plan. You got to go party. You got ladies to go to. You got maybe some lounges to sing at still. I mean, that's kind of the word we hear on the street. I mean, so we've got a lot going on with you, my friend. So I want to give you the floor. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything that you want to plug, anything that you want to share. And you know I'm pulling for you. So fire away, and the floor is yours.
So tomorrow, marching on, come down and watch myself and Conrad Blaze become the new and second LWF Tag Team Champions. And, quite frankly, it's going to be one hell of a party afterwards.
Oh, it's going to be a party. If you guys win tomorrow night, it's going to be a party that, listen, Kiss might have sang rock and roll and party all night, but I got a feeling that the Scenario Nathan Gunn and Conrad Blaze are going to be rocking all night and some. And it could be a party that might even go into during the week. It could be such a party if they win the tag team championships that party could be going just on and on and on and on. It'll just never stop. So we'll certainly see. You can follow the Scenario Nathan Gunn also on Instagram at Pro Nathan Gunn, the LWF on Instagram at the LWF Wrestling, also Facebook, LWF, Twitter, LWF. And again, we're going to be on sportnarium.com/player here in a few minutes with Wildfire Nate Reese and the Asset Stephen Cross. They'll have a lot to say about their situations here, their scenarios, quote unquote. So the LWF takeover here will continue. I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportzwire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. We are with the Scenario Nathan Gunn, just hours away from arguably the biggest match of his career as a part of the Tag Team Championship match against the Wrecking Crew's Davey Getzky and Chris Stone. Thank you, everybody, for watching this. We will also be back here live 2:30 a.m. UK time with the Sportswire Radio team, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. But in the meantime, tune in to sportnarium.com/player for Wildfire Nate Reese and the Asset Stephen Cross. Thank you, everybody, for watching this. Good night, and we'll be back here Saturday, 2:30 a.m. UK time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you.